Hey Vegan Freaks, this is Snotty Bob coming at you with Vegan Freak Radio number 35. It's the 26th of April, and I'm all hepped up on cold medicine.
When we were kids, the bugs and the birds fascinated us. They were just like us. And we were taught to slam the door. It's not cool to feel too much, but some of us break free. According to you, I'm a vegan freak. That's what you think, I'm a vegan freak. Your opinion, I'm a vegan freak. That feels better, I'm a
Hello, this is Jenna.
And Bob, how you all doing out there?
And we're here once again for Vegan Freak Radio. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome back to your community podcast. That sounds cheesy.
It does.
I was thinking about it though, we are really a community show, right? Because we always have like a bunch of voicemails and emails and just like taking the pulse of the vegan community, man.
Yep.
That's what we're all about.
And we've guest spots once in a while from certain people, interviews.
Yeah.
It's all good.
We're open to submissions if you've got stuff for us. We'd love to hear from it.
Yeah.
You know, like, Satan gave me a call and he had a little something for us. He just wanted to give a little promo. So I figured I'd roll a little promo from Satan.
Hey everybody, how you doing? This is Satan, and I just want to say that when I'm chilling out at home, there's nothing I like better than listening to Bob and Jenna on Vegan Freak Radio.
So there you go. There's a little bit of Satan. Tough to get a hold of Satan these days, though. He's a very busy guy.
Yes, he is.
And we will get some more Satan on. Those of you who have requested it, we will get there for sure. And we've got all kinds of stuff going on. I have to apologize. I have a cold. I don't know how long I'm going to last for.
Well, I'll do most of the reading today.
You have to do most of the talking today.
Okay.
I can already feel my voice starting to go. I was talking the other day in class. I was lecturing, and my voice kept cracking. And I was like, it was embarrassing because it was like going through puberty again. You know, I felt like I suddenly felt really socially awkward and like I should have a lot of zits and, you know, I don't know. It was really weird. So if my voice cracks, I apologize.
Okay. So.
Yeah.
Did we actually find some shout-outs for this week?
We did indeed.
Okay.
We're way behind on these, and I apologize to the people involved. We need a couple shout-outs here. One is to Esme from the forums. These are all for donations to the show, and they're much appreciated. The other one is to Jennifer Green, and I'll let Jenna do the other two.
Okay. This one looks like Mondragon. I'm assuming that's the way you say it.
Mm-hmm.
Bookstore and coffee house.
That's in Winnipeg, yeah.
In Winnipeg?
Yeah, they are collectively operated, and if you're in Winnipeg, they need some assistance. I apologize that I didn't get to them sooner. But, yeah, they're collectively owned and operated, and they're cool. So.
Or Mondragon? I don't know. Anyway.
No, isn't there a... I think there's a collective farm in Spain, you know, one through. So.
Okay, so it would be Mondragon.
I believe so.
Okay, and another one for Chris, who uses VMD on the forums.
Yeah, very all very generous donations from those folks, and we appreciate it. And if I'm missing you, this is everybody as of I think yesterday or today.
Yes, I believe we need to shout out to Victoria, don't we? Victoria McDonald?
Duh.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
Yeah, there you go, you just gave away the good job.
I thought there was that was somebody else.
Isn't that, well...
It's Chris.
Wasn't that VMD who was...
No. Was it?
I don't know.
It was somebody else.
Well, then go ahead, shout.
All right. I did.
Okay. Sorry, we're behind. If we don't make it to your shout out and we do a shout out, just send us an email and remind us. It's nothing personal, but the inbox for veganfreak.com currently has 1,500 messages in it.
Yeah.
And a bunch of those are unread or have been read and then moved to the top of the queue, and I lose track of them. And I apologize. It's my own kind of... I'm just a complete fucking mess. That's all. Especially this time of the semester when I have stacks of papers to grade and things like that.
Yes. But one good thing is that I am more or less caught up with sending out buttons.
Good job.
They just mailed them yesterday, so you will get them hopefully in a few days, a little bit longer if you're abroad. So you should be getting them soon. So after this batch that I sent out, if you still are missing a button, you need to send me your address, podcast@veganfreak.com.
There you go.
If you have subscribed or donated. And I only sent ones to the people who sent me their address. So
yep.
You got to send me your address.
Absolutely. And if you subscribe and don't hear from us, let us know. Anyway, So we got a couple things going on this week. We've got a bunch of voicemails, and we've got guest spot from Dino and another guest spot from Ranting Steve from our forums.
Mm-hmm.
So we should get moving on these things.
All right.
You've got some news items.
I've got some news
about.
that I'm going to read since your voice is going.
Good idea.
Okay, one of these things, this is from the New York Times, and I actually saw it also on Super Vegan blog. They had mentioned it, and it's called Advertiser Counts on Sheep to Pull Eyes Over the Wool. And what caught my attention was this, because when you go to NewYorkTimes.com, this is the website, they had this big picture up of these sheep wearing, like, coats, basically, and the coats had this website on them, so that they're, these sheep are being used to advertise this, I think it's a hotel, actually. So I was like, what the hell is this? I'm like, I looked at, put up the whole thing on New York Times, I'm like, not vegan. So then I went to the article, and it says, the latest low-technology billboards along highways in the Netherlands are startling enough to prompt motorists to indulge in U-turns, or make that U-turns, E-W-E turns, ha-ha. These ads are walking woolly flocks of bleating sheep. Earlier this month, Hotels.nl, a Dutch online reservations company, began displaying its corporate logo on royal blue waterproof blankets worn by sheep. The company spends €1, or about $1.23 a day. Wow, the euro's about $1.23? Oh my God.
The dollar sucks out.
Per sheep, and sponsors about 144 sheep in flocks throughout the Netherlands. But commercially branded sheep roaming the bucolic meadows of the northern Netherlands have prompted a reaction. On Saturday, the town of Skarsterlen began fining Hotels.nl €1,000 a day for putting branded blankets on sheep. Advertising on livestock violates the town's ban on advertising along the highways. My first reaction was a smile. It is very creative, says the town's mayor. My second reaction is that we have to stop this. If we start with sheep, then next it's cows and horses. Which, that's what they're afraid of. So that's kind of crazy. Using sheep for advertising.
I don't know. I agree.
So, it's just another example of us using animals and seeing them as, walking billboards rather than beings. But then again, we do this to
that shit is definitely not vegan.
Definitely not.
Yes. But then again, we do this to people too, so.
That's true.
But then people are getting paid for it.
I remember hearing somewhere that a woman in Las Vegas or something, didn't she have something tattooed on her forehead?
Oh yeah,
that's
right.
Then there's this video series called Bum Fights, and they pay bums to homeless people to tattoo things on their heads.
That's great.
Yeah,
advertisements.
It's pretty.
At any rate, it's all taking degrading. Advantage of people and or animals.
So it's not vegan.
But I thought that was just. But the Super Vegan blog brought up a good site. What if they were wearing little blankets that had anti-wool messages on them?
That's interesting.
Would we be so opposed?
No. I think it'd be fine. I don't know. I wear T-shirts that have vegan messages on them.
Yeah, that's true.
So
the sheep can't volunteer for these things, so we shouldn't use them as advertisements.
That's true. But what if the jackets keep them warm?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. We ought to bet sheep in jackets are
What if
cute.
a sheep made you a sandwich?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So.
Yeah. So you have another news item, don't you? Are you done with that one or no?
Yeah, there's more to it, but it's not all that interesting.
Okay.
This other thing that I wanted to read is a sort of a if you're not vegan yet segment.
Well, you should be vegan, damn it.
Yeah. I got in my email today from United Poultry Concerns, who we mentioned a lot on our podcast.
And we did an interview with Karen Davis way back when.
Exactly. And this came on the newsletter, the email newsletter, that you should go and sign up for if you haven't already. Let's see. And it says, do a good deed for chickens for International Respect for Chickens Day. So it's International Respect for Chickens Day on May 4th. Okay, so these, she sent along some chicken facts that you should know about chickens.
Okay.
Chickens come from the tropical rainforests of Southeast Asia.
Okay.
Yeah. Perched in the trees and sensitive to infrared light, chickens see the sun an hour before humans do. That's crazy. Despite domestication and genetic modifications, chickens are essentially the same as their wild relatives, the red jungle fowl. Through crowing, every rooster in the forest knows where every other rooster in his family are at all times. Each rooster can recognize the crow of at least 30 other roosters. In nature, the hen and rooster find and create a ground nest together. They try out secluded places before settling on the site they both like. Embryonic chicks communicate with the mother hen and each other from inside the egg. The mother hen turns each egg 30 or more times a day in response to cues from the chick embryo. The mother hen helps her chicks break out of their shells. Roosters protect their families. Hens and roosters will fight to the death to protect their chicks from predators.
Cool.
Roosters are foragers, philanderers, and family men who seldom fight in their natural habitats. Chickens love bamboo seeds and figs. A touching example for human love for a chicken is told by the British humanitarian writer Henry Salt concerning an old woman he once met in a roadside cottage who had for her companion, sitting in an armchair by the fire, a lame hen named Teddy, who she had saved and reared from chickenhood. A few years later, Salt met the woman again and asked about Teddy, but learned that she was dead. "Ah, poor Teddy," the woman said in tears. "She passed away several months ago, quite conscious to the end."
Oh, man.
So this is what chickens are like in the wild, and when they're given the space that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really sad to think about, how much the mother hen cares for her chicks and the rooster, protecting, their family. And, in egg production, once you got all these chicks that are going to be raised for egg production, they, when the company first gets all the chicks, they sex them and then they just throw away the males.
They do indeed.
And kill them.
So it is yet again us using animals for whatever the hell we want and ignoring all the complexity of animal life. I mean, we have this assumption going through our every single day lives that humans are somehow at the top. We're the pinnacle of all evolution, all this other, happy horse shit you hear all the time. And, I think what we do when we do that, and particularly in Western culture, we ignore the idea that other animals are complex beings and have things going on that we don't know about or can't appreciate because we have a different set of skills.
Yep, exactly.
So I think that's a really vital idea. We've got certain skills, but animals have other ones, and we need to recognize those other ways of understanding, or other ways of being, other ways of existing in the world.
Yeah, and it's just so amazing the difference between what chickens and roosters and how they live in the natural habitat and what we do to them. It's so sad because you put them, 6 to a cage, they got us the room, the space of a piece of paper,
mm-hmm.
and, set them to lay eggs, and they suffer.
It's horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So that's that.
Yes.
Right?
That's that.
Okay, we're moving on. We got a pretty good response to last week's series of rants. So we thought from now on we'll actually probably have like a rant segment on the show.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling incredibly ranty. I mean, I have something I want to talk about, but Jenna, you were feeling pretty ranty the other day.
Yeah. Yesterday, specifically.
Uh-huh.
And I was a lot more
specifically,
and I was a lot more ranty yesterday when I got home than I am now. But I'll see if I can work myself up into a rant.
Get ranty, will you?
Okay, I'll get ranty. Yesterday I had to do grocery shopping because we were out of food, and so around here you can't just go to one store to get everything you need because not every store has everything you need. So I had to go to the main regular grocery store, and I had to go to our co-op. So I go to the grocery store and I'm walking around, buying my soy milk, walking around with my little vegan cart, and, I'm sort of like half paying attention to the music, the horrible music that they're playing in the store.
At the co-op?
No, at the regular grocery store.
At the regular grocery store. Oh, right.
At the co-op, they usually play good music.
Yeah, I was going to say, they usually play some all right stuff there.
Yeah. But no, this is cheesy, pseudo 80s music at the grocery store.
All right.
So then occasionally, they'll play ads for something that's on sale in the store, or something, they want to highlight a special or something. And this one was about beef.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was getting really grossed out because they were talking about, it's like this and this and this, and it's such a wonderful eating experience. I'm like, that's horrible. I'm thinking cow, moo, dead. And they're thinking, what a wonderful eating experience.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was kind of blocking out because I was getting grossed out. And until the very end of it caught my my hearing, I guess, caught my eye, but whatever.
Caught your ear.
Caught my ear, and it said that, and the cows were guaranteed to be raised humanely. And so that just set me off. I'm like, yeah, my first thought was bullshit.
Of course.
Because to me, hanging up a cow by its hind leg and slaughtering it in horrible ways, not exactly humane.
No, not at all. But it was raised humanely, right?
Oh, right. So, that was great. And, okay, then I'll taste all better then, right?
Oh, yeah.
It makes for a better eating experience. And I was all mad because they were highlighting this and that more people were going to go buy this because they're thinking, oh, well, it was raised humanely, therefore I don't feel so bad about eating it.
Of course.
And this sort of will get into your rant later on.
Maybe.
Anyway, so that pissed me off as I was going through the grocery store. And, our grocery store is kind of annoying because people are really slow anyway.
Yeah, they are.
So, and I was mad because they only had like a little bit of the soy milk that we like. So anyway. Okay, so then I had to drive 10 miles to go to the co-op because, nothing is close around here where we live. So we have to drive. So then I drive to the co-op, and the co-op, is a really tight space. It's a good co-op. They have a lot, but it's really cramped.
It's small.
And so I'm like, you barely enough room to maneuver a cart around. And so I'm maneuvering my cart around. I got my cart full of stuff. And inevitably, whenever you go to the co-op, everyone checks out at once.
And there's one checkout.
There's one checkout, and there's no scanner thingy. They have to push everything in by hand.
Yep.
So there's this ex-hippie, middle-aged woman. I know,
careful.
it's going to get me in trouble. But we've ranted about this before.
Did we?
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, no, she's got like, this huge braid, and she's like, oh man, like staring off to space.
I'm like feeling the air.
Yeah.
I'm like channeling the goddess energy.
Yeah. So she's got this huge order, and I swear there were at least 6 or 8 half gallons of organic milk on the belt. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, how in the world do you need that much milk? I mean,
maybe
I just
she has a baby calf at home.
Maybe. Because they need all that milk, but we don't. So I was like getting all grossed out and pissed off because she's taken forever with all this, and she's got so much milk and so much dairy. And I'm like sitting there looking at it, it's like, that's so much suffering.
And the other thing is at the co-op, too, you have to bag your own groceries.
Yes, which it took her forever to do.
Yep.
And I'm sitting there, and not only did she have all that milk, but one of them was leaking
Ew.
onto the thing. And I'm like, get that cow pus away from my groceries.
Your
I was
vegan
just like,
groceries,
I had
right?
like this big, area around. I was trying to maneuver around this spilled milk. So I was like all grossed out. And so this woman was taking forever because she, was real slow in loading up the thing. And then surprise, the woman gave her the total. Oh, I have to write out my check. So she's sitting there forever writing out this check. And then she wanted more money than, so she gets some change back. And then she wanted to give her exact change or something so she could, but then she needed pennies. I don't know. It was like, it's taking forever. And so I was stuck behind her at this one part. And our co-op doesn't have a lot of meat. But
it has a few things.
It has a few things. And right at the checkout was the organic beef jerky.
It's buffalo jerky, isn't it?
There was buffalo jerky there, too. And venison jerky, too.
And
local.
Venison jerky. Oh, lovely.
Local venison jerky. So I'm sitting there having to stare at this. And the primal strips, of course, the vegan ones are down way on the bottom, so I can't see them.
Nobody wants that hippie shit.
No, but so right in my face are the organic beef jerky. I'm like, organic or not, it'll still kill you. And those cows still suffered.
Of course.
So I'm sitting there getting all pissed off looking at the beef jerky. And
I remember when I was involved with the co-op board, I got annoyed because someone suggested on the board that we didn't want to give the image that the co-op was just for vegetarians. Mm-hmm. And I was like, the vegetarians are a main source of income for the co-op. Like we buy a lot of shit here. So I don't know. They didn't end up expanding the meat or anything, which is good. They don't have any fresh meat there. It's all frozen and jerkied.
Yeah.
But they do sell milk and eggs and meh.
Yeah. But they do have a lot of vegan goods for a pretty small co-op. So
yeah, they're good for a small co-op.
Mm-hmm.
We're really lucky to have a co-op living where we live.
Amazing. Yeah.
We live in the middle of nowhere.
So that was just my little grocery store rants.
Yeah, I get frustrated with the co-op too. So I got particularly frustrated with the co-op when we had some difficulty getting the co-op to come out against Walmart. So I was like, yeah, I don't know why you won't come out against Walmart because they want to consume us alive, but whatever.
Indeed.
I was supposed to rant this week about 2 different things. I wanted to talk about, I didn't want to rant about welfarism versus abolition and liberation. I wrote a blog entry on this over at veganfreaks.org about the kind of me being, about my kind of experiences lately with some campaigns and where I'm at and how I'm thinking about these issues. I want to talk about it on the show this week, but I'm not really feeling like it.
Well, you just send people to the blog entry.
Yeah, well, what I'm thinking is I'll talk about it next week in more depth, because this week I'm not feeling incredibly coherent. So I like to be really coherent and really sharp when I'm on the show, and I don't feel sharp or coherent today, and this is an important topic, and I'd rather do it coherently and well than kind of muddle through it in my fucked up snotty voice. So I think next week I'll deal with that in better depth. And also I wanted to talk about this. I guess I could talk about this now. Oops, sorry. I forget. That's really disgusting, and I apologize. Yeah, anyway, I want to talk about this idea. I was on the forums. I think I was talking to Soy Boy on the forums, and he was saying that he was talking to someone who was saying that if you need to drink milk, you shouldn't be a vegan. You need to drink milk, because if you don't drink milk, the cows are going to explode. Right? So it's this really fucked up logic. Whoa, there goes my pen across the room. It's this really messed up logic, because what does it say? It says, well, we've got cows. We've already set up all these cows for exploitation, and if we don't exploit the cows, they're going to explode. So it's like, we got to keep exploiting them so they don't explode. And I'm like, don't knock the cows up, number one, Number two, if the cows aren't knocked up, they won't give milk. And so we're creating cows. I mean, that argument is so dumb. It ignores the whole thing about...
People just think, like, cows magically produce milk. They have no idea about, like, the whole reproductive aspect of it.
I know.
I'm like, women just don't give milk. I can't give milk.
Oh, I do. I give milk all the time. Yeah, sometimes I walk around with these little wet spots on my shirt. Yeah. No, I don't. I don't give any milk. I don't even have very large breasts, so
Well,
do you think I do?
No.
I can't even push them together. So I guess
No
that's
man
good
boobs.
though. I don't have any. I don't have any man boobs.
No.
Not like Bob in Fight Club. Anyway, I don't have any man boobs. But so cows will explode. I mean, what a ridiculous thing to say. It's like just this idea that we have to keep exploiting the animals or they're not going to be exploited. It's just, it pisses me off, because it's another one of these things that people come up with when they're feeling like, they have to find some way to justify what they're doing. It's this other, this half-assed notion like, well, I'm drinking milk, and why am I drinking milk? Well, I like it, but that's not really a good reason, so I have to think another reason, and if I don't drink milk, the cows will explode. It's like, what? I don't know. It's almost, when you argue, that animals shouldn't be tortured as they are in production facilities, people always end up with this, well, what will we do with all the animals?
Yeah, that's another big one. Like, oh, if everybody went vegan today, where would all the animals go?
Well, it's like...
Yeah, they have no concept of the fact that we breed animals on purpose.
We could stop breeding animals today. That would be a big
start. That would be a
start. And one of my students said to me, well, would you rather it be that all the animals that exist right now be killed? And I said, if all the animals that we had in production right now, they're going to be killed anyway, right? If it meant that we could kill all the animals we have destined right now for the slaughterhouses and then we would stop, I would do it. Mm-hmm. Because it's great, right? I mean, it's not great, but you would kill a normal amount of animals that people would consume, and then it would be done. I'm not making any sense, but you get into these situations.
Yeah, or heaven forbid they would actually live out their natural lives.
Well, people could adopt them or I don't even want to get into the specifics of it, right? But that's not a reason to stop. I mean, I guess my point, what I'm trying to get at is, I don't know what we would do with all the animals. I really don't. I have no fucking idea. But that doesn't mean that that's a reason to stop.
Right. They're just looking for excuses.
That doesn't mean it's a reason to stop caring about animals, Mm-hmm. It's like, what we do with all the third world people that are making soccer balls for, $2 a year or something, or whatever the fuck they're making. I don't know, right? But that doesn't mean that they should do it, right? I that's how I feel. So I got to stop talking, because
you're going to lose your voice.
No, I'm going around circles. I'm not making any sense.
All right.
So
we'll let Ranting Steve rant.
All right. So we've got a rant from Ranting Steve that hopefully is more coherent than my complete fucking witless banter. So here it is.
Hi, this is Ranting Steve. There are few things more infuriating than omni-progressives who think they are being humane by eating organic and free-range food. I got my copy of Mother Jones magazine in the mail this weekend, and on the cover was a picture of a bowl of eggs in a grassy field. The title read, "The Revolution Will Not Be Shrink-Wrapped, Breaking the Industrial Food Chain." The cover story is about Polyface Farm, a quote-unquote beyond organic farm where cows, chickens, pigs, turkeys, and rabbits are supposedly being treated humanely while they are being used and fattened for slaughter. Here's what one happy customer had to say. All this meat comes from happy animals. I know, because I've seen them. And the pork tenderloin is to die for. All I have to say to this is, I don't think the animals are all that fucking happy that you are killing them for their meat. And as for the tenderloin, you're not the one that's doing the dying for it. Yes, the animals at Polyface might be treated better, but they still end up suffering the same fate as the rest. Also, anyone who buys free-range and organic should know that farms like Polyface don't supply to stores. So when you go to the grocery store to buy free-range or cage-free, it means shit. There is no regulation for these terms. Cage-free animals find themselves wall-to-wall crammed in barns or kept confined in some other kind of non-cage enclosure. Chickens can also be debeaked and still be considered free-range, cage-free, or organic. And ovo-lacto-vegetarians, even if you decide to go out and find a farm like Polyface, what do you think will happen to the hens and dairy cows once they are past their prime? Do you think they'll be allowed to live out the remainder of their days grazing in pastures? Most likely, a farm isn't going to waste such a resource. These chickens and cows will become meat, and their calves will become veal. Besides, even in the rare case where they are allowed to live out their lives, you are supporting a farm that makes the majority of its money by killing animals. So, omni-progressives, if you are out there listening, realize that there is nothing humane about eating meat, eggs, or dairy. So stop kidding yourselves and go vegan.
Way to go,
All
man.
right, Ranting Steve.
Completely agree.
It basically connects with what I was saying.
Yep.
I actually hadn't listened to this before right now. And it's kind of funny because I met all those omni-progressives in the grocery store in line in front of me, and they were drinking their organic milk.
I'm telling you, man, leftists are the worst people to talk to about veganism.
Yep.
They always have 8 million reasons why they don't care about it. Usually, you know, I care about people first, and there are 8 million reasons, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
But way to go, Steve.
All right, great rant.
I completely agree, man.
So we will have Ranting Steve on in the future, I'm sure.
I hope we do.
Send more Ranting Steve.
Send more, indeed. What a great way to add to our rant segment, particularly when I make no sense. I apologize for that last segment. I was just completely...
You're fine.
Blah, 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 talking. Like it's my show or something. Oh, wait. No, okay.
It's our show.
Yeah, right. Oh. It's mine.
Huh.
Nah, it's our show. It is.
Yes.
We've built this city on rock and roll.
We did. All right. Speaking of which, we have a song.
We do indeed.
You have the info, I hope. Uh-oh.
Just enjoy it.
Animal liberation is our liberation.
Every last night, brings out the voices of animals. Chickens and torture, fish and animals, yet animals is nothing living hell. Dimension and state, destroyed animals, dimension destroyed, dimension war. This is a place, nothing good, this they bring, dimension animals, dimension and state. They destroy, there's nothing left, to me like remains. Destroy our earth, nothing's that is evil, which is certainly a fraternity.
There's nothing you can do about it!
See something you make, can't feel alive, give us that sense of life, it makes us all. What would they choose? Death, pain, and suffering, when left to spin the bar, what are they stars? They destroy, there's nothing left, to no life remains. Well, these times like every last night, striking by the time.
Stop the torture, stop the death, free the animals, support the ALF.
Hell yeah. I like that song a lot. That is Resist and Exist, and Angry Duck was turned us on to that song. I really like it.
Mm-hmm.
And the lyrics are really solid too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're a radical punk band out of California, or so that's what Angry Duck says. I know nothing about them, but I will learn more after today's show when I have a moment. So thanks for that. Angry Duck also sent us a very good email that has a lot of issues in it that I want to deal with, but I don't have the brain power to do it right now.
We'll do it later.
But we will do it later. Everything's about later. You see, later on we're going to be good. But right now, it's like triple Mongolian clusterfuck of stuff going on.
Yeah, end of semester.
End of semester.
Week and a half
insanity.
left of classes. So.
Once we get over the class thing, we're going to be kicking some major podcast ass.
And a week of finals. But then after that, yes.
But even during the week of finals, we'll have more time. So I feel like once the classes and finals are over, we're going to start kicking some major ass.
Yeah.
And once I get my stupid book proposal done. So, what do we do now? Oh,
Dino.
Dino. Okay.
Dino's coming at you.
Right. And here's a little bit of theme song.
Dino, we who cook with Dino are the luckiest people in the world.
Hello again, vegan freaks. It's Dino, and I'm doing the podcast segment on my own because it looks like Bob and Jenna are going to be kind of swamped for the rest of the month. So for the rest of this month, I'm going to be recording a podcast segment and sending it over to Bob, who will then add it in. Today, I was hanging out in the chat room with a few people, and a girl named Amanda came in there, and she was asking how people can find vegan miso soup. And I was shocked because miso soup is one of the easiest things to make ever. And you can actually augment it with other ingredients to make it a little bit more substantial, or make it something that's a little bit heartier than just the water and salt thing that it usually is. Now, miso paste itself is vegan already and always has been. However, dashi, which is the broth that you simmer the miso with, is actually not vegan because it's usually made with what are called bonito flakes, which involve dried fish, and I don't think any of us vegans want to be eating dried fish or anything resembling a fish. So if you want to have miso without a face, make the vegan version. It's really, really easy. All you have to do is get yourself some kombu, which is kelp. You can find it in any Japanese market or in any Asian market. They usually carry the stuff dried, and you're not going to find it fresh. It's usually dried and salt cured. So to soften it up and to remove some of that excess salt from the surface of it, go ahead and soak it in about a bowl of warm water for about an hour before you're about to embark on your vegan miso making thing. Vegan miso can be made using the miso paste from the store. I really wouldn't bother getting into making it myself because it involves a lot of processes that I don't have the tools for in my kitchen, so I'd much rather have somebody else do all the work and just buy the high quality stuff from a decent organic food store. They'll usually carry it because miso is a very healthy, protein rich food that has been keeping people, fed with protein for a long time now. So go ahead and buy whatever kind of miso paste you can find at your local Asian market or organic food store, because it'll already be vegan, so you'll be fine. And in a large pot with a heavy bottom, gently, I cannot stress gently enough because the stuff doesn't take very well to heavy boiling or harsh cooking methods. Gently simmer the leaf of dashi in about 4 to 6 cups of water. If you have it, or if you can find it, also throw in a little bit of dried shiitake mushrooms. It'll give the soup some body, and it'll give it some earthiness that you wouldn't ordinarily get in a miso soup. If you would prefer the lighter flavor, just leave that step out. I usually put that in there instead of the fish stuff because I want to give it an extra tone of something that your guests will not quite be able to figure out what it is. So go ahead and simmer it under very, very, very low heat for about 45 minutes to an hour, give or take, and you'll notice the broth getting darker and darker and darker as you as you simmer it longer and longer. You want to be heating this over low heat. You don't want it to ever boil. If it ever boils, you've pretty much ruined the entire thing, and you're gonna have to start over with a fresh sheet of kombu. Okay, so once your broth is ready, remove it from the heat and stir in about 1 or 2 tablespoons of the miso paste, and don't stir it vigorously, just gently stir it through so it just gets combined, and slice up some scallions and throw it on top, and just let it sit there for about 5 to 10 minutes so that it'll settle down. If you have them, go ahead and get yourself some oyster mushrooms, put them into the bottom of a bowl, and gently pour over the hot soup over the mushrooms. If you don't have the mushrooms, just serve the soup as is, and it'll be delicious all by itself. It doesn't really need that many embellishments because it is supposed to be a very simple soup. If you want something with grains to serve with it, I would recommend either soba or udon noodles, which are 2 different styles of noodles from Japan. I can't recall off the top of my head which one's buckwheat and which one's whole wheat, but they're both healthy. They're really good for you. So definitely give that a shot. You may also serve it with a little bit of brown rice. Make sure that it's mostly soup and just a little bit of the brown rice, because you want to balance the carbohydrates and the proteins and the water and the salt and everything else like that in there, without, having any one thing overpower the rest. Taste it for salt just before you serve it, because if it tastes a little bit undersalted, go ahead and add in a few pinches of sea salt and stir it up just before you serve it at the table, because you want that salty flavor to be fresh. You don't want it to be one that's been boiled in for a really long time. In addition to this, as a side accompaniment, you might want to serve some slivers of cucumbers that are just quickly tossed with a little bit of lemon juice and some sesame seeds. And if you want, you can also drizzle on a little tiny bit of sesame oil or chili oil just before serving. Again, you want to maintain the cucumber's crispness, its freshness, and you want to keep it as simple as possible. Another good accompaniment is some shredded carrots, treated the same way, with just a little bit of lemon, tiny bit of salt, and just a teeny little bit of sesame seeds and sesame oil to give it some color and flavor and make it look pretty. And another accompaniment that tastes really good is thinly sliced chilies that are soaked in lemon juice for about 5 or 10 minutes before serving. And you set up all these little accompaniments around your bowl of soup, and you kind of mix and match as you go along so that you have an interesting eating experience. I'd like it to be where you have one small bowl of soup and 4 or 5 accompaniments around it, and you take a tiny little bit of the accompaniment on your spoon, dip it into your soup, and eat it that way, so that your entire eating becomes an event. It's not just, I'm going to sit down and shovel food into my face. You're actually taking the time to enjoy your food and, present it in a beautiful manner and give each little accompaniment some moment in the sun to give it some flavor. So I would most definitely love it if you guys got out there and experimented with this one, because it's so easy to experiment with. You can try different types of miso, or if you can't find the kombu, go ahead and use nori flakes. That'll work just as well. It'll give you a different set of flavors to play with. I would not recommend using MSG in any of these recipes, just because I find that MSG tends to be way too overpowering on the flavor profile of your food, so it tends to sort of take over. So instead of doing that, just stick with your basic miso soup as a starter, and then go into a really simple stir fry as a main course. And as a dessert, just serve some fresh fruit that's been marinated in a little bit of white wine or orange juice or pineapple juice or whatever juice you have. My favorite fruits for doing this are persimmons or strawberries or raspberries or blueberries, things that are really simple, have strong flavors, and kind of fade away into the background. To drink with this, definitely have a few cups of warm sake, and I think you'll have a lovely Japanese dinner that you can be proud to show off to anybody who's coming over, or even all just for yourself. I think it's fun to sometimes go the extra mile and cook a really elaborate meal for yourself, just because it's so easy to fall into those those patterns of just doing something that you throw into the microwave and, eat it really fast. Once a week on Saturdays or Friday nights or something, maybe take some time alone for yourself and, arrange the table beautifully, get out the flowers and get yourself some candles and cook yourself a beautiful meal that's appealing to your eyes and to your nose and to your stomach and to your taste buds. And I think that you can really give yourselves a moment of peace every week to de-stress from all the stuff that builds up over the week. I think that your food can become a sort of a comforting thing to bring you and your family together. Even if you just live by yourself, that's really good to take care of yourself and pamper yourself once in a while so that you can show yourself that you still care about yourself. You're important people. You're doing important work. You're vegans. You're saving animals out there. So I definitely want you guys to take care of yourselves too. I hope you enjoyed this segment, and I'm going to be sending it to LM, who is going to be transcribing it for me so that I can leave it up on the forums for you guys to look at if you need to. And of course, keep emailing me those questions, keep asking me those questions in the chat room, and maybe I'll mention your question on the next podcast segment. Thank you all so much for joining me. Goodbye now.
Our cast iron skillets are treated, and our ovens are all preheated. Throw away that fake meat, it'd bring out the vicious wrath of Dino. Vegan freaks love Dino, 'cause he sure can cucino. Grazie, Dino. Molto squisito.
And we do love Dino.
Indeed.
It was really funny when he was talking at the end there about, you gotta pay attention to yourself and give yourself some love. It reminded me of reading some of the sex positive stuff on masturbation. It was like, take a little bit of time, set it aside for yourself, make sure you pay attention to yourself, enjoy yourself. And no, but it's true, actually. It's a really good point. I do have a question, though, for Dino. My question is this. Dino will eat miso, as we just heard, but he won't eat tofu.
Mm-hmm.
Now, miso is a soybean product, just like tofu is a soybean product. They're both processed. Why miso? Why is miso okay and tofu not?
Mm-hmm.
I want to know, Dino. I want to know.
Yeah, because I was thinking a lot of times when we make miso soup, we put in small cubes of tofu.
Yes, silken tofu is really good.
Tofu,
like the firm silken tofu is very good that way in the soup.
And a little bit of green onion sliced up in there.
He said that though.
Did he? I missed that. Sorry.
I think he did.
I spaced for a minute in there, so.
I also heard you could use kombu to help take away some of the gassy edge of beans. I don't know if that's true or not.
So if you soak it with them?
I don't remember.
Like that? Okay.
I'm just pulling that out of my ass, probably.
Okay. So. It's entirely possible.
This is us being not well researched as normal.
Yeah, exactly.
had we been well researched, yeah. But I'm getting hungry because you're cooking something in the oven and I want to go eat it.
Yeah, we did the delay start timer and it smells good.
It does smell good. What is it?
Tofu loaf.
Yeah, that's out of
La Dolce Vegan.
It's out of La Dolce Vegan and it sounds disgusting.
I know.
But she even says that in the
loaf
recipe.
is a horrible word.
Loaf is a horrible word indeed.
So we're going to try that.
Yep.
When we're done.
So it makes me...
It does smell really good.
It does, doesn't it? Right. So.
Right. What else do we got here?
Time once again for some vegan freak voicemail. Maybe we'll hear from a hot chick
or a choice male.
Callers make us happy and help us keep our sanity, even if all they wanna do is fucking complain about the shitload of profanity.
So this week we have both choice males and hot chicks, I presume. I don't really know.
We don't know what they look like, so.
We know what some of them look like. Okay.
Okay. Go ahead.
Hi, Bob and Jenna. My name is Ashley. I'm Creature Comrade on the forums. And I've been a part of the forums for quite a while, so I thought I would finally call and leave you a voicemail. Mostly it's in response to when Jenny Brown came and you guys interviewed her. And I was just going to call and talk about not only supporting the sanctuaries, but also visiting them. Last year in July, I did an internship at the Farm Sanctuary in Orland, California, and it's one of the most amazing experiences person can ever have. I think especially as being a vegan, because you come really close to kind of what you're going at and what you're like making your life decisions for, and it's kind of just, I don't know, rejuvenating, wonderful experience, because you get so down to that level and you're like, wow, this is what it's all about. And yeah, so I am going back in July this year again, and I think it's really great that on the forums they've planned that get-together in Watkins Glen, because everybody will get a chance to go see the animals, and it's just so cool. So that was about it. Thanks for all you do. I love you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Ashley. That's so cool of you.
Yeah, and that's often a suggestion a lot of people give to people who are considering veganism and like, why should I care about the animals, is go to a farm sanctuary and spend some time with them, because a lot of people spend time with dogs and cats.
Oh, fuck.
Boy. Well, speaking of dogs, I say dogs, and he has to insert himself into the podcast.
He's looking out the window, and there's probably a dog out there now. Oh, there's a fat guy on a bike.
Oh, good. He's going to go downstairs and bark now. Okay.
Anyway.
Anyway, people spend time with their cats and dogs, but they don't spend time with farm animals, and they have no idea what they're like. So it's a good opportunity.
I think another thing, though, that I was thinking of when she was talking about going to volunteer, I think that anyone out there who's listening should identify what their talents are and do something within their talents to promote the cause of animal liberation or veganism. You know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think if your talents are writing, go out and write. If your talents are liberating farm animals, I would never encourage anyone to do anything illegal. Go liberate farm animals. If you're, by the way, FBI, I don't mean that. Whatever your talents are, though, you should go do something that fits with your talents that will help the movement and help animals. And I think if we all did that, only that little bit, that could really make a huge difference.
Indeed.
So if you think your talents lie, and if you think you could really be useful at a farm sanctuary, go there and be useful. If you think you could be useful writing, go write, or do whatever it is that you're good at. Find something that you can do and do it. I think it's really important for people to do. And also it helps overcome that feeling of like, oh my God, here I am fighting against something that is so big and oppressive. I think it helps with that.
It does.
Volunteering in general, or doing things, being involved.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay.
All right, thanks, Ashley.
Yep.
Hey, Bob and Jenna, this is Carl. I'm coming to you live from Veg Fest 2006 in lovely Salt Lake City, Utah. Despite what you may have heard, this is a very cool city, very progressive. There's a lot of stuff going on. Every year on Earth Day, they have Veg Fest. This is a wonderful event. There are great speakers. There's free food, free jerky, free vegan jerky. I know you guys love that. In case any of you were wondering, Salt Lake City's great. Just within 2 miles of my house, I can think of 3 or 4 restaurants that are either entirely vegan or very vegan-friendly, vegetarian. There are 8 or 10 other places around town that are very knowledgeable about veganism. It's a great place to eat, great place to visit. We have a wonderful mayor who's very progressive and tries to do great things. You guys come visit sometime.
All right, thanks, Carl.
Yeah.
We got roving reporters coming at us live from the Veg Fest. And there are a surprising number of cities, I think, out there that are vegan-friendly. You wouldn't expect it, because Salt Lake City has this image of being, like, completely just Mormons.
Yeah, that's what I think of when I think of Utah.
Yeah, me too. And we actually have a friend from Salt Lake City who sets us straight, though, and who tells us about all the good things that there are to do there, and who was part of the, SLC punk scene kind of thing. So there is that element to it as well.
Absolutely.
So, sorry for the noise there. The dog is being annoying and bumping the table and creating static. So,
yep, he keeps bumping the table that the microphones are bolted to, and distracting me as well.
Okay, so.
Hi, Bob and Jenna. My name is Christine, and on the forums, my other name is Bunny Lalu. Bunny for honey bunny, and Lalu for the first word my son ever said, Lalu, 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 which means love you. Anyway, I'm calling because, first of all, I wanted to thank you guys so much for bringing me a whole community of freaks. I think that, and I hope that, the people that read your book and listen to the podcast and go to the forums and all that sort of stuff have a lot in common with some of the qualities that I have, like being kind of a social misfit and a rebel and a tendency to think for myself. But anyway, I just wanted to thank both of you so much for helping someone with my type of personality actually feel a sense of belonging, and that's kind of rare, and that's pretty cool. I also wanted to address the lady on your last podcast who was talking about living with an omnivore. I have been married for 16 years, and 14 of those years I was living in omni-ignorance. Anyway, so one day I just decided, hey, I'm going to be a vegan, and I told my husband. He's like, what? And, you know, it all just happened in one day. It happened overnight. I mean, it seemed like it happened overnight, but in actuality, when I was about 10, I think I heard the term vegetarian, and then for the next 35 years I was sort of thinking about it and practicing and doing different, you know, sort of veggie-related things. But regardless, the point is that now that I have been vegan for a year and a half, I've had a chance to kind of go through some of that. Anyway, I was talking about my, you know, just the year and a half that I've been vegan, and he's been, of course, omni. He hasn't changed. And I just want to say to people out there that it really depends on the relationship. It depends on the person. And I guess I feel like I can't judge myself so harshly for all those years of being omni. And at last I came to a state of being somewhat more enlightened and having some compassion for the animals. That's a quality I think I need to share with the other people in my life. So I vote for compassion. And finally, I know this is getting long, but I just wanted to sort of address the righteous vegan perfectionist freaks and say that I think every day, every one of us is both being vegan and becoming vegan. And I don't think there is a state of perfection, although I really do appreciate the different definitions that you sort of put out there on, especially the forums, about what it means to be vegan, because that gives me goals to shoot for. And I think that kind of discussion and debate is really important. Anyway, thanks, Bob and Jenna. Thanks for letting me rattle on, and keep up the good work. Bye.
Wow, thanks for all that, Christine.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So many good points in there. We appreciate your kind words about the forums and everything else.
Yeah, definitely.
We have, I have to give a little shout out to our moderators here, because they really do help keep the forum running and sane and everything that it is. So our moderators are really the best part of the, keeping the forums going. And I just do a couple behind the scene things, really. So the moderators are good. And, really the forums wouldn't be anything without all the people that are on them, making them as good as they are, and posting all kinds of stuff, and people posting pictures of various things. Some of them including things that, I don't know. I think they were calling them Kentucky wristwatches, as I recall.
Right.
No, so we appreciate that. We're glad we're able to provide a space for you, and for anyone else out there that is interested as well. But good points on living with an omni.
Yeah, definitely. Compassion, showing compassion that you have compassion, I think is a lot of times contagious. So being vegan, as you say, and showing other people about what it means to be vegan, and I think is really important. So
absolutely
can help enlighten. So yeah, and yeah, about the perfection, it is impossible to be 100%. Like when we talked about this, I think it was even last week.
It was
that you can't, tires, things we always mention, things you can't really avoid,
sure,
unless you have the ability to walk everywhere. So, yeah, you work and you learn every day, and you do what you can. I
mean, our house is not vegan.
No,
there is horsehair in the plaster in our walls.
Yeah, because we have an old house.
We have a very old house, and we have plaster and lathe in the wall. Some walls we actually do have drywall, but we have plaster and lathe in some of the walls. And man, it's like you bust some of that open and you start seeing hair in there, and it's just, damn, it's horse hair.
Yeah.
Like, holy crap.
Yep, exactly.
So some poor horse in 1850 took it for our walls. And, I feel, well, anyway, there's no state of perfection. I think that's really true.
Yep.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Hello. Just a quick question. I've heard from a lot of people who tried veganism or read about it that they couldn't do it because when they've tried, they had a lot of problems with their health, and it's just impossible for them to do it. And, it's not just a few people I've heard it from, it's a lot of people. And me, personally, I don't believe it, or maybe it's true, I don't know. And if it is true, what are the odds of someone trying veganism can't do it because of health reasons? And this chick I was talking to earlier said that people who are, raised to eat a lot of animal products or did a lot of it, can't change. And, personally, I think it's bullshit. But, I just want to hear what you guys have to say on it. Thanks.
It is bullshit.
It is bullshit.
I got to tell you, though, because prior to going vegetarian, I ate a lot of animal things. And when I was a vegetarian, before I went vegan, I ate a lot of cheese and eggs. I feel bad about that, but that's truth of the matter. In terms of this whole idea about the failure to thrive, I think is what it's usually called. I think some people, if they don't eat a variety of foods, can become unhealthy on a vegan diet. Just like some people who on a meat-eating diet can become unhealthy if they don't eat a variety of foods. You can develop anemia on eating meat as you can develop anemia as a vegan. So I think that it's important that you just eat enough calories and a variety of calories from a variety of sources. I think that's the most important thing to do if you want to remain healthy. And I think another thing to do is if you're serious about your health, two big possibilities. One, you should go talk to a doctor or a nutritionist who is comfortable discussing veganism with you. Some doctors don't know that much, but some do. And I think a better thing to do before you even talk to a doctor, or at the same time talking to a doctor, is to grab a copy of the book Becoming Vegan, which is just a tremendous book that talks about all the nutritional background on going vegan and the things that one should consider in a vegan diet if one wants to remain healthy. So I think that most people, you hear about people failing on vegan diets and for health reasons. I think a lot of that has to do with eating one or two foods for an extended period of time. Sarah, my God,
Kramer.
Go vegan, Sarah.
Kramer.
Yeah, talked about this on our show when she was on a number of weeks ago, where she said, or a couple months ago actually, that every so often she'll go to events and have people raise their hand, and this like sickly yellow, kind of disgusting looking, unhealthy looking vegan goes, I've been eating potato chips and Coke for 3 years and I feel like I'm going to die. Well, yeah, if you eat pizza, if you eat cheeseless pizza and Coke for a year, you're going to get sick. So I think people who fail to pay attention to what they're consuming or who eat unhealthily are going to get sick regardless. And I think blaming veganism on that is maybe a little bit problematic. But I would say a well-balanced vegan diet is a healthy diet. And even the American Dietetic Association says in their guidelines on vegetarian and vegan diets, which you can find on the web, they say that vegan diets and vegetarian diets can be healthy.
Indeed. So
if they say it, and this is the group that to which registered dietitians belong, I believe, right? If they say it, there's certainly something to it. But Becoming Vegan is a solid book, and to my knowledge, the only thing you really have to watch out for very carefully on a vegan diet is a constant source of B12 in terms of, making sure that you're getting that. But otherwise, if you eat a variety of foods and you eat enough calories, you're going to get enough protein, you're going to get enough of the things you need to live. And we've been doing it for a while, and you'll find in our forums there are vegans for 20 more years who have been doing it. So I don't think it's a huge issue in that way.
Yeah, I think that, like you said, the important part is that you need to educate yourself, and that a lot of people either don't eat a variety of foods because they either just don't know what to make, or that they don't like a lot of things, because they've never tried them. So I think it's important to educate yourself not only on nutrition, but buy yourself a cookbook. And because you might learn about new ways to prepare things or new things to prepare that you never thought about before. And, so that is a necessary step to avoiding this, I can't be vegan because I don't know what to eat. So if you have, and another thing is that if you have allergies, which some people bring up, I can't be vegan because I'm allergic to nuts or I'm allergic to soy. Well, you don't need to subsist on only one thing. You need to eat a variety of things. And even if you're not allergic to things, you should vary your diet and learn what works best for you.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
And by the way, varying your diet doesn't mean you have to buy more expensive fake meats and stuff. You can vary your diet just in the produce section.
Exactly.
And, grains, produce, and beans, and you're pretty much
there you go.
In good shape.
Yep.
But I would really recommend becoming vegan by, I think it's by
Davis and Melina.
Yeah, there you go. Davis and Melina. Very good book. And that will give you all the info you need, including a chapter on athletics and things like that. So there you go. But I think surely some people do fail to thrive on a vegan diet, but
it's because they're eating like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches every day for every meal.
That's like me. I've eaten so much peanut butter and jelly in the last 2 days.
I know, we've gone through this entire humongous thing of jelly. It's like been a week.
I love peanut butter and jelly. I do. Can't help it.
But at least you're eating it on 100% whole wheat bread.
That's true. That was made in my own home.
Indeed.
All right.
Okay, so now we got a couple of drunken emails coming up.
I love drunk voicemails.
Yes, voicemails. Drunk voicemails coming.
Hey guys, it's Richard, living in Photograph.
Richard.
I just wanted to give you a call because I listened to my first podcast, and yeah, it was 31 or whatever, and you guys said you liked drunken voicemails. Well, here you go. Very drunken voicemail. And I just wanted to say what's up, and first podcast I listened to was very cool. Bob's imitation of cats puking, very good. Sounded exactly like a cat puking. I have to say I'm impressed. Anyway, talk to you later. Bye.
Living in Photographs has been on our forums almost since the first day we launched them.
Yes, he has.
He probably has. He has to have thousands of posts at this point on the forums. Don't you think?
Probably.
And anyone who missed the cat puking thing, here it is. There you go.
Thanks.
Yeah, I just thought I would entertain.
Yeah. So yeah, for a drunken voicemail, that was pretty good.
That was pretty put together for a drunken voicemail.
Yeah, and then there was a little bit more too, but I cut it out, and just so Richard knows, cause not to give any more press to the thing he was talking about. He'll know what I'm talking about. So.
Oh, I didn't listen to that one before you edited it.
I still have the other.
I have to go back and listen. All right. So, and here's another one.
Okay.
Jersey vegan freaks.
Hi.
We are all wired some sugar and eating cookies.
Cookies.
And beer. Oh God. One person with a hangover.
We just wanted to say hi and thank you for bringing us all together in our vegan freakiness.
Aw, how cute.
It would have never happened if it weren't for you guys.
It's a very giggly bunch.
Indeed.
What
the hell was that? I love drunk people.
This is a whole lot of drunk people, too.
Chair for you, Bob and Jenna. A chair sacrifice for you. It's vegan. It's okay. We're going to call back and sing theme song before we run out of voicemail space. 267-295-1944. Write this number down on your refrigerator door.
You got to add the 011 country code.
Leave a voicemail for slow Bob and Vegan freaks. Fuck yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to play that to embarrass all of you.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, there you go. There's your preview of next week. We're going to have a segment on from Nell on the cookie review, the vegan cookie review. You know how that Nell has done a couple of vegan product reviews. And for this one, she went down to New Jersey to hang out with all the Jersey vegans. And there they all were. So there's your preview. And I want to know if they were sober when they were eating the cookies and if this review is going to mean anything.
We will grill Nell. Like there's no
We'll get
tomorrow.
all the dirt from Nell.
That's right. So that was cool. It really, I love the drunk voicemails. I think they're awesome.
So thanks for singing the theme song there for us. Appreciate that. That was great.
Absolutely. And speaking of the theme song...
267-295-1944. Write the number down on your refrigerator door. Add the 001 country code if you call us from Vienna. That's how you leave a voicemail for good old Bob and Jenna.
All right.
The drunk voicemail is the best.
That was.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and just so everyone knows, I have an amazingly long queue of voicemails.
That doesn't mean we don't want more.
Exactly, we want more. But just so you know, I mean, we played quite a few on this week's show, but we're going to have more coming. So if we didn't play yours yet, it's probably coming.
That's right.
And so, we just pick a few here and there, and we'll play them, next week. So we're getting there.
Yeah, we will play them. We play almost all of them that we get. So
Nearly all of them,
I think we play almost all of them.
Almost all of them.
So we play a lot of voicemails, and we'd love to hear from you. And we'd like to hear from you via email too at podcast@veganfreak.com. And you can come over and register on our forums if you want, if you're a vegan or near vegan. What else?
Yeah, you can call us. You heard the number several times there, 267-295-1944.
That's right.
And leave us a voicemail.
And
Drunk or sober, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And I don't know. What else?
Website, podcast.veganfreak.com.
Podcast.
Check the show notes.
Veganfreak.com. You can check our, and you can always vote for us at Podcast Alley as soon as May rolls around. That would be helpful.
Indeed. April's almost over. So once May comes around, new month,
we
new
will
votes.
have when I'm better, we'll have a better podcast for you. I'm not feeling very energetic today. I apologize.
It's okay.
Yeah, I feel like I've just let the audience down with my lackluster appearance on today's show.
You've been fine.
Yeah, it's been kind of
weird. But like maybe they wanted to listen to me for once.
Nothing wrong with you. You're great.
You're saying that I'm boring too?
No, I'm saying that I've been lackluster
Okay.
today. I feel as though I have put on a less than stellar performance. And, doing the podcast requires I know a lot of you out there think we just sit down and do this shit. We just sit down and do whatever. It requires a little bit of amping yourself up, getting ready to do it.
Planning,
Planning. It's like giving a talk in front of a big crowd of people, and you've got to be in the right mind frame and in the right kind of set. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you're feeling kind of like on another planet, it just doesn't. For me, I just don't feel like. I don't feel very jocular. I don't feel very fresh. Maybe I need to douche.
Maybe there you go.
Maybe when we lived in Europe, we had a bidet.
Oh, yeah.
That was kind of fun.
We installed a bidet in our bathroom.
I remember using that bidet for the first time. That was kind of strange.
Yes, it is.
Yes. I'll tell you, man, there's nothing like having warm water rushing across your scrotum.
TMI. But I was just freaked out by it was the little towel that goes next to the bidet. I'm like, it's the poop
bidet
towel.
When you go in Spain, you buy a set of towels.
Yeah.
Like in the U.S., right? You have a bath towel. Oh, what was that noise?
I don't know. It's still going, so I don't know.
All right, I was afraid that it was our thing shutting off. No, in Spain, in the U.S., when you go to buy a set of towels, right? You have a bath towel, and you have a hand towel, and you have a washcloth, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Spain, when you go, you get a bath towel and a hand towel and a washcloth, and then another little towel.
Smaller than a hand towel.
Smaller than a hand towel,
Mm-hmm.
but bigger than a washcloth.
Mm-hmm.
And that's for drying your taint.
And wiping your bum.
And your bum, right? Not just your taint. That's for dealing with the bars.
Yes, it is.
I got that one from Kat. Yes, bars.
Bars. Okay.
That's for dealing with your the gooch. The dirtiest inch.
Yes, the taint.
Oh my God.
Or the perineum. There you go.
That's
too medical.
That's so medical.
It is.
I mean, let's. Well, anyway.
Okay, but anyway, coming up, we have Nell's review, as we mentioned.
That's right.
With the cookies. And we also have Drina Burton. We're going to do
coming
an
on
interview
next
with her. Well, she'll be on next week. So we're finally going to get back into doing some interviews.
Yeah.
And it'll be good to talk to her because her recipes rock.
Yep. And we're going to have Gary Francione on soon.
Mm-hmm.
So we've got things coming down the pike for you. And I apologize for just sucking so damn hard today. But that's the way it is,
Yeah.
Only once before have I come to you with a cold.
This is true.
Yep.
Yes.
I hate having a cold when I'm vegan.
Yeah.
I hate it because everyone's like, "Oh, it's because you're vegan." It's like, no, you fucking asshole. It's because I'm around all these students who are germy and coughing on one another all the time, and that's why I get a cold, not because I'm vegan. Come on, it has nothing to do with being vegan.
No.
So, but I know vegans out there hate admitting that they get colds.
I know, I do. I can't stand it.
I hate to admit it because it's like, oh, you're vegan.
I
That's
know.
because you're not eating enough. Whatever.
Right.
If you ate some meat, you'd be fine.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. So anyway, I don't know. I'm done. I'm going to stop rambling on.
Okay, let's end the show, and we will see you all next week. Thank you once again for everyone listening. Thanks to all our subscribers and donators.
Yeah.
We really appreciate the support as always.
The subscribers, we really have to thank you because you've allowed us to purchase equipment that has really enabled us to limit the amount of time we spend on the show, and that kind of producing the show after we've already recorded it, and that's really helpful.
Yes, so you guys all rock.
And eventually it will help us actually put out better shows, but
we're getting there.
We're getting there. So, anyway, thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week on Vegan Freak Radio, and don't forget to get in touch with us. We love to hear from you. Until then, make sure you take your B12, eat your tofu, make your miso soup, have a good time. Come over to the forum,
website, etc.
Yeah, be in
check out the
touch.
blog. Bye.
Visible under your nose, we walk the earth and changes but far.